We're live, people. We're live. Welcome to another Toronto Hoop Talk stream. My name is Alam, and today I'm bringing you a watch along from Canada and Latvia. This is the final game of the initial group stage. This is a game that doesn't quite impact qualification to the next round, but it does impact who you play. So, winner of this will finish first in the group and thus um, first in the group for the second round of group play. Um, I think ultimately what happens is the records get carried over from this group stage to the next group stage. So it still does benefit to have that third win. That means you have to do less in the second stage of group play. But yeah, there's no risk of anybody going home today. So these two teams are gonna get to it. Latvia, Canada. Latvia is a team that doesn't have Kristaps, doesn't have a lot of recognizable names, but they've been playing well. They obviously 2-0. They beat France. That was a surprising result. Um, I think they only beat them by a couple of points, but even still, France is a team with heritage, despite the fact that their players might not be um, in their prime so far or at this point. But yeah, early on, 6-2 Latvia, 8:30 left in the first. We avoid Spain if we win. Do we hold on? So how does it work? Because I know when I was looking at it, and I'll pull it up on the screen. Uh, basically, we'll be playing the top two teams from that group. It'll be Germany and no, it'll be Spain and Brazil, likely, and then I guess Spain would be for the quarterfinals. Oh yeah, because if you finish top of that group, you don't play top of the other group, which I guess you're assuming is Spain. But yeah, shout out to Kenyon as always in the chat. France collapsed, was up by 20, lost by 2. Raps legend Nando DeColo went out. Okay, that's what happened. Got it. Raps legend, I think we still have his restricted free agency rights. Or we at least did up to this summer. I forgot what they did with his rights this summer. So yeah, we have a commercial break, people. 9 to 5 Latvia. I'll use this opportunity to go through the format of this competition. So let's pull this up. It took me a while to figure it out because I don't know if I've ever watched a tournament that followed this format, but I'll get this screen shared right now. Yeah, so we do have Nando DeColo's rights. Yeah, it only makes sense to have the cap hold in the event that you ever need it to stay above the cap when that's advantageous. No, I'm actually watching on Sportsnet, Kenyon. I have the Courtside account though. That was actually pretty clutch for the friendlies. So I have the format pulled up, but the game's back. SGA went to the rim, got the basket. Could have been an and one. 8 minutes to go. 9-7 Latvia. Offensive foul, I think. Nope. It's a foul on Dwight Powell underneath the basket. It looks like Dylan Brooks was about to get blown by. They're showing a replay here of SGA getting that basket. I guess the replay from above didn't make it look so bad, but the normal camera angle initially made it look like he took a lot of contact as he finished that basket at the rim. Number 55 on Latvia. Nice finish at the basket around Olynyk. Zagars. RJ Barrett kicks out to SGA in the corner, misses the three. Dwight Powell with the tip out, but he tips it right off a Latvia player to another Latvia player. Latvia going the other way. Quick three in transition. The miss is collected by RJ Barrett, who goes the other way immediately. RJ posting up, turning around, trying to finish over a second defender, hits the side of the backboard, but he is fouled. So that is 2 free throws for RJ Barrett. Okay, cool. Little breakage in play. I'll get this format up. All right, so people, what we have here is the format. So this is the basic group stage, yada, 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 right? Cool. So Group G, Group H, these two groups are the top 2 teams are going to get put together. So it's looking pretty likely that it's going to be Spain and Brazil, but the Ivory Coast does have an opportunity to get there. And yeah, so in the second round, the top 2 teams, so G1, G2, H1, H2, are going to get matched up. SGA, step back, pull up, ball bounced on the rim about 7 times before a Latvian player knocked it off the rim. FIBA basket rule things. Latvia goes the other way and throws the ball out of the court. So here's the thing, right? This grouping of the H1, H2, the game is back down. Never mind. I'll get back to this at the next stoppage of play, primarily because I do need content to get through during commercials and halftime and whatnot. Canada inbounding the play. SGA found Dwight Powell under the basket who got hacked. He's going to shoot free throws. Cool. So these G1, G2, H1, H2 get grouped into Group L. And who does Group L play in the quarterfinals? So Group L will be matched up with Group K. So to look at Group K is this group. So Germany, Australia as of right now, and then F1, F2. So let's see who F1 and F2 are. F1 and F2. So Slovenia looks very likely. And then I think Georgia, I think they play Cape Verde. So I'm going to go ahead and say the team with a better plus minus is going to win because I'm not familiar with the teams at all. So in that situation, let's go back to the second round. You figure Germany and what was the other team? Slovenia? I forget already. Damn. Yeah, Slovenia. You figure Germany and Slovenia would be the threats to win this group. So I obviously if you look at it like you're playing one or the other in the quarterfinal, I'll be honest, I don't even necessarily know who the better matchup is there. I think these things are definitely matchup dependent. Obviously Slovenia has Luka, and Luka's amazing, but Germany's a team. Germany plays really well together. If you look at the establishment that Germany is, and what the player that Slovenia has, yeah, I don't know if there's like a huge thing of differentiating between those two matchups. Kenyon says Luka hasn't played though. He hasn't been healthy. Oh, say a word. He hasn't. Is he supposed to be back? Because I know he's on their squad. Yeah, I'm not familiar with his injury situation. Because I know there's a bunch of players that aren't on their nation squads for the tournament, but he's on the Slovenia team. But yeah, if he's hurt, then obviously you want Slovenia in that case. You'd want to win the group to avoid Slovenia. But that's the thing, right? So winning the group is ultimately down to finishing at the top of this group. Now, it would help to have the win because then you'd be above Latvia because the records carry over into this group and you add to it. See, if you look at Germany and Australia, they have their records inputted into this group and they'll play 2 extra games against the other teams in that group and add to their record. So if you want to finish first here to avoid Germany, you have to get this win here. So it's almost like this game, it's like it's a second round game essentially. You can look at it this way. The first round is over. We've passed through to the second round. This is the beginning of the second round. So with that being said, it's 14-11 Latvia, 5:27 left. Latvia starting out strong. Canada still looking to get things going. I think SGA is still looking to get things going. I don't think anybody particularly is in a rhythm. We haven't quite been able to get a flow going offensively, but I think that'll come. Kick out to Dylan Brooks. From 3, he misses. Olynyk under the basket, gets the rebound, puts it back up and misses. Thought he was fouled there. But Latvia will go the other way with the ball. Davis Bertans going around the screen. Latvia kicks the ball around. Somebody's trying to ISO. Oh, that guy's trying to ISO RJ. RJ stayed with him the whole time. Kick out to Latvia. Miss from 3. Canada gets the ball. They will go the other way. Germany's resting France because he recently injured with a tweaked ankle. We will see. Damn, that's big for them. That's big for them. France is great. Luka may be back, but they are touch and go. Slovenia is also missing their second best player too, so we will see. They already qualified because the Euros, if I'm not mistaken. So this is more about pride and rankings for the Olympics. Okay. Interesting. So it looks like basically Germany is the threat, and even they're not healthy either. So we will honestly, it looks like we have a fairly reasonable path to the semifinals, because even with Germany, a full strength Germany, I think we played them twice in friendlies, and obviously we lost the first game, but I'm pretty sure we beat them the second time. Germany is definitely sneaky, but I'll be real, I think even if you look at them as a very good team, we got a chance to play them twice. Like, the familiarity will be there. It's not like we're going up against a team that we don't know anything about. And at the end of the day, like, we are the better team, which it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's not nothing either. So, yeah, I think if we show up against a team like Germany and just play a good game or better, we're fine. If we show up and play average or we play like shit, yeah, it is what it is. They'll punish us for it. As long as we make it to the quarters, we should be a lock for Olympic qualification. I believe we have to finish top 2 in the Americas, and I think basically for something like that, you have to look at the Dominican Republic, because I think the U.S. will do pretty well. Like, it just is what it is. But then I think that competition for the second spot, if there is a competition, it's the Dominican Republic. So I'll have to see what their side of the tournament looks like. Yeah, so it is top 2 in the Americas. So during the second stoppage in play, we'll go through the Dominican Republic's air ball by Nikhil from the corner. I think he might have been bumped there, but it is what it is. Number 55 for Latvia. He wants all the smoke. He is an eager initiator of offense. He's constantly trying to take his man on, even if he can't get by RJ. What is being called here? A foul on Dwight Powell under the basket off of an RJ shot. I think that's 2 fouls on Dwight Powell underneath the basket. Quarterfinals would mean one of the other American teams don't make it at some point. Okay, yeah, we'll check that out. Dwight Powell with 2 fouls out of the game now. 3:22 left in the first. So now that's Nikhil in the game, SGA in the game, Olynyk in the game, RJ Barrett, and that last man is Dylan Brooks. So we are playing a small lineup. Effectively the starters, but Nikhil in the place of Dwight Powell. If you look at the Latvian lineup, I believe Davis Bertans is their 4. So they're a fairly small team. You may not have to play both Dwight Powell and Olynyk. One of them might suffice. You might be seeing live in action Jordy making his adjustments in the game. I think he did a very good job against France making adjustments. from the first half into the second half. So you hope that the adjustments can change the way the outcome of the game goes, the same way it did against France. Obviously, I didn't watch the game against Lebanon because we already knew what that was going to be. This is a very random thing to have, just random advertising for these brands on the channel. So 18-12 Latvia. Olynyk misses a shot. Latvia going the other way. Somebody takes it strong to the basket, just can't finish. SGA with the rebound going the other way. They are letting them play today, which is fine. But I just think that Canada has to adjust because they keep going to the basket, trying to finish through contact, not getting the call, but missing. Ball gets kicked around to Nikhil, who misses the three, and the ball goes off a Canadian player's hands. Latvia ball. So Melvin Ejim and Scrub are checking in right now. Dylan Brooks is checking out. See, I'm looking at it. That first second round group would have Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So one of them is knocking the other out. That's one team gone for sure. If we get to the quarterfinals. Rodion's Karuks just jacking a shot up. Fortunately, his miss goes to a Latvian player. Ejim tries to wrestle the ball out of his hands and save it before going out of bounds, but he just throws it right out of bounds. So Latvia keeps the ball. A guy wearing 66 just went around the screen and hit a three, so it's 21-12 Latvia. Really strong start for Latvia. Definitely a getting punched in the mouth moment for Canada. SGA the other way pulls up from deep on a deep three. Canada loses a man in transition. Latvia goes the other way, getting a bucket, 23-12. This is not the start that you want for Canada. That being said, a lot of basketball to play, a lot of adjustments to make, and ultimately you just got to see shots fall. It's not like Canada is out here getting like outrageously bad shots every possession. They just have to fall. We've had a fair share of decent threes. We've had some decent looks at the rim, albeit with some contact. Just got to get those to fall. Just got to get those to fall. But yeah, there's a breakage in play. I think Olynyk is going to shoot free throws. SGA is checking out of the game. Bell Haynes is checking in the game. So the U.S. is another America's team. Mexico. Okay, so Mexico's gone effectively. Venezuela and Brazil. So with Venezuela and Mexico gone, that's 2 out of 7. Olynyk misses the first free throw. That leaves 5 teams to consider for those Olympic spots. Canada, the U.S., Brazil, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, 5, right? So one of Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic will knock each other out. That gets us down to 4. Canada has the opportunity to run into Brazil likely and deal with that themselves. That drops it down to 3. So then, yeah, all things lead to obviously America and this team, Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, whoever advances to the quarterfinals in that group. So it's that team, the US and Canada, to consider for those Olympic qualification spots if you want to look at the serious contenders. And then obviously assuming that Canada takes care of business against Bruno Caboclo and Brazil. Yeah, quarterfinals will be key, definitely. And then I think the US will be in a completely different quarterfinals, right? So hold up. This will be the group. Yeah, so this will be the group. They'll run into the US and a group that a team that comes out of here. So the US will probably finish first in this subgroup. So now it'll be interesting to see who finishes second here to get the matchup against the US. If that is Dominican Republic against the US, that's another matchup where one of the competitors gets knocked out. And at that point, then what a chase down block by Olynyk. That's the second chase down block I've seen from him in a Canadian jersey between the friendlies and these games. I've never seen that in the NBA. Maybe I just don't watch enough Olynyk in the NBA, but he's playing a different kind of basketball for Canada. Trey Bell-Haynes from three to end the first, misses. So we're down 10, 23-13, Latvia. Very shaky start, but ultimately I haven't seen anything from Latvia to suggest that like this is just undoable to figure it out. I think we'll get back into this game. Beyond that, it's a minute and a half away. A final of US and Canada would be peak. Oh, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. I think that would be the kind of matchup that could like kick off a rivalry because like ultimately like in a sport like hockey, I think Canada US is just inherently a thing. But like I think in sports like soccer and basketball, like obviously just with bordering nations, there's always something, but it's not really a rivalry yet in those sports. So I think a final like that could kick off a rivalry and it would be a lot of fun. Also, it'd be interesting to see what happens in a matchup like that where US 100% has the better talent, but the reality is like I think SGA is the best player. I think SGA is the best player in this tournament that's healthy. If you consider that someone like Luka isn't quite healthy at this point. But yeah, we are on a commercial break right now, people. I can go through the groups as we talk through what the tournament's going to look like. So if we get a subgrouping here and I think Italy got that W. So it's Italy, the Dominican Republic, Serbia, and Puerto Rico. That's a pretty interesting group. I think you have to give the advantage to the Dominican Republic. So that's the interesting thing. I think Dominican Republic and Serbia probably get the job done. Serbia obviously doesn't have Jokic, but they fared pretty well in the first two games. I think a contender would be Italy, but I don't know. Has Italy looked good? But there definitely would be a competition there. But I think the Dominican Republic with Cat, from what I saw from them in the friendlies, and then obviously how they're faring so far, I think Dominican Republic has a very good chance of advancing to the quarters. Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the basket, gets fouled. Finally, we get a call. He tries to go up and under, takes the contact, can't get the finish, but gets to the free throw line. So Nickeil missed the first and misses the second, but Edgem gets the rebound underneath the basket. Yeah, it just looks like I don't know what the best way to word it is, but it's like a nervy start from Canada. It's like I'm not suggesting that they're nervous because I don't even necessarily think that there's a reason to be nervous, but it has that type of nervous energy around the start in terms of just like uncharacteristic missed free throws, a high volume of missed threes. I think they're getting success getting to the basket, but then when they get to the basket, they're getting hit and missing the shots at the rim while not getting the calls, and I think that might be frustrating the team. Which is something I don't think will sustain throughout the whole game. By the way, I think when that happens in basketball, the team usually figures it out. Olenek gets a shot to fall at the rim, cutting the deficit down to 8, and then they kind of try to get into a press high up the court, but Scrub fouls somebody. Phil Scrub fouled the Latvian player, and he's being subbed out of the game for RJ now. So we got a bunch of starters on the court right now. I think Bell Haynes and actually no, never mind. There are 3 bench players. So RJ and Olenek the starters, Bell Haynes, Edgem, and Nikhil as the bench players. There's a foul on RJ. So this is what it is like. You're seeing a lot of fouls called on Canada when it comes to just contact on and off the ball. Not so much on the ball, actually a lot off the ball. But then for Latvia, I don't think you're seeing a whole lot called, which is fine because these things just happen. But I think as Canada settles into the game and as that evens out, you'll see a turn in the tide. Oh, that's definitely a foul, but also I feel like that's something that could have been called the other way that hasn't been. But Bell Haynes smacks somebody underneath the rim while trying to contest a shot. 2 free throws for Latvia. He knows it's a foul called. But yeah, so we looked at that subgroup. This one is looking like Montenegro, Lithuania, US guaranteed, and then I think Greece and New Zealand match up against each other. I think. But regardless, it looks like Greece has the better plus minus. They have the advantage so far. Regardless, honestly, that group, it doesn't look so strong. I think US definitely gets that number 1 spot, and that number 2 spot, honestly, is probably contested between Lithuania and Montenegro. So that is straight up just Valanciunas against Vucevic. Nikhil Alexander Walker is pivoting underneath the basket and just steps right out of bounds. Again, that's just it's a shaky and uncharacteristic mistake to make. I think Jordy's trying to revive some life into the team with this press because we are pressing really high up the court. I think we're trying to jolt some life back into the Canadian team right now. But yeah, that was weird by Nikhil. That was really weird. You don't really see somebody underneath the basket kind of pivoting like that with just no idea where their foot is. Olenek's man tries to go to the basket, actually gets around Olenek, gets to the basket, and I think dribbles it off his own foot. Substitution, Trey Bell Haynes is out of the game. Dylan Brooks is entering the game. Nikhil taking the ball up the court. Nikhil sidestep, passes to Dylan Brooks, goes around an Olenek screen, pump fake, kicks it to Olenek, who backs somebody down, gets to the basket, gets a shot to fall. Camera pans to SGA, who nods in approval. Shout out to my guy, My Marquez. Hey guys, let's watch basket games, player games. Then, hey guys, let's watch the basketball game. Player games, guide by gameplay, player games. Riveting stuff from My Marquez. So Latvia misses their shot going one way. Canada gets the ball going the other way, and the Davis Bertans is called on a foul underneath. He's called foul against Bertans underneath the basket when him and Olenek kind of just bump into each other. And honestly, that kind of looked 50-50 in terms of the players bumping into each other, but Olenek kind of looks like he gets the brunt of it. Whether he actually did or if that was just him acting a little, he gets the foul call. Off the inbounds play, RJ, who missed, continuing the cold squeeze. go get shot to fall. Um, uh, got the good misses a three. Ball gets kicked to RJ, who also misses a three. And then I think Dylan Brooks collects a rebound. Apologies for the issues, people. I'm back. Um, the computer does funny stuff sometimes, but I had to get this off the screen. The hell? All right. But yeah. So as I think as the issue went on, Canada was down 12, and now they're down 7. So there was a SGA 3 and a RJ dunk in the meantime. So that is how we're in the spot that we're in. 35-28 Latvia ball with 4:05 left in the second. If we could get this down to if we could get this to like around a tight game going into halftime, I'd feel awesome about the second half. Canada persisting with that press, with that aggressive press high up the court. Latvia kicking the ball around. Karooks pass feeding into a player that draw two defenders. Kick out to the 3-point line, open three for Latvia. Ooh. Missed rebound underneath the basket that then results in a missed shot from Latvia. Shot gets tipped out. And yeah, it goes off Canadian player's hands. Latvia keeps the ball. So they will now get their third shot of this possession, which is not good. This is not a thing you want to see from Canada that we've seen at certain points during friendlies where the rebounding just doesn't go well. Canada with the ball. Nikhil pull up three around a Kelly screen. Misses the three. Getting back on defense. Olenek guarding a point guard. Does a decent job of staying with him, but kicks out to an open 3-point shooter. Latvia makes the three to restore a 10-point lead. Olenek going the other way. Finds Dwight Powell underneath the basket. Gets the shot to fall, plus the foul. So Dwight Powell may be getting an opportunity to erase that three that Latvia just made. Yeah, it felt like that at that point where Canada had a chance to get some momentum going. They had that really bad possession where they gave up three shots in the possession. Two open threes and a look at the basket. Like that's one of the worst possessions you can hope for as a defense, and it results in a Latvia three in a big moment. So that sucked. That definitely sucked. And yeah, Dwight Powell to the free throw line. Hopefully that can just be a one-off thing, and we get going for the remainder of the second quarter. There's 2:52 left in the second quarter. It's a 7-point deficit. Definitely is possible to get it to around level going into halftime. If that happens, I'd feel amazing about Canada's chances. Something is being called on Latvia after a missed shot to give Canada the ball, which they were going to get anyways because they got the defensive rebound. 38-31. SGA taking the ball up the court. Being actually picked up by Rodion's Karooks, who's huge. I think he's like 6'9". So clear strategy there to put size against SGA. And even though SGA's had some shots that they would fall on another day, obviously they're going to be happy with how their strategy has fared against SGA. Off the ball foul on Davis Bertans, fouling Kelly Olynyk. So I think that results in free throws at this point of the quarter. Yep, Kelly Olynyk at the free throw line, chance to make it a 5-point game. Olynyk makes the first one. Both Olynyk and Bertans smiling and laughing about something. Olynyk shoots the second one and makes it. So a 5-point deficit, people. 38-33 for Latvia. 2:15 to go. quick bounce back from that possession that gave Latvia the 10-point lead. If we can just string some good possessions together going into halftime, we'd put ourselves in a really good position. Pass into the post from Latvia gets tipped by SGA out of bounds. Latvia keeps the ball. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Latvia player goes around the screen, kicks to the corner. 3 gets missed from Latvia. SGA going the other way. Chance to make a one possession game. Nikhil gets the ball to the basket and one, people. The cousins linking up. SGA brought the ball up the court in the break. Found Nikhil beside him, who kind of just knifed. He tried to knife through 2 players, but to be fair, one of the Latvian players seemingly did a decent job of not getting outright blown by, but just too much contact on the contest. And also, he had his hands up and he was walking backwards. At no point did he get his feet set and establish his defensive position. So the contact results in a foul. Nikhil gets the shot to fall regardless. So it's 38-35 with a free throw to maybe make it a 2-point game that he misses, and Latvia gets the rebound. So it stays a 3-point game, 38-35 Latvia, 140 to go. Chance to get a big swing going into this second half. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. So far, Latvia hasn't got any dribble penetration. The guy just jacks a 3 up above the break. Misses, but of course Latvia gets the rebound. So again, these second chance possessions. What a play by 55. Pump fake. Looks like he's about to take the shot. Olynyk goes towards him. Behind the back feed to the big. Yeah, that's a great play there. Ends in a Latvia basket. You just gotta tip your hat to something like that. Canada goes the other way. SGA is fouled. That will result in free throws. I believe we're in the bonus. Latvia thinks that they got a steal. Yeah, they're showing a replay of that pass. Basically, it was he went around a screen from his big man, which caught up SGA. So it was basically like a 2-on-1. It was the point guard and the roller going up against Olynyk, and the move just had Olynyk looking silly. And set up a wide open dunk for the roller. But yeah, SGA to the line, makes the first free throw. Has the opportunity to make it a 3-point game, and he does. 40-37. 1:02 to go. That's the second foul on number 55, Zagars, who is looks like a dangerous player for Latvia, to be honest. Foul on SGA as his man tries to go around him. I think that's free throws for Latvia now. Oh no, they're calling a technical foul on the coach, the Latvian coach. He's lost his head a little bit. He's been doing a lot of talking between these calls, but I don't know what he said and did. I don't know if they called something aside from this technical, but they did call a technical here, and it is now a 2-point game, people, 40-38. Yeah, they didn't call anything other than the technical. So Latvia has the ball. If they miss the shot, Canada to get the ball back with like 40 seconds to go. Chance to go for a 2-for-1 and maybe even have a lead going into halftime if this last minute plays out perfectly. Karuks goes to the basket, gets around Olynyk, and finishes at the basket, 42-38. SGA kicking out to Olynyk, deep 3, makes it. So 30 seconds to go. We will get the last possession of half, 42-41 for Latvia, 1-point game, 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. So if we can get a miss here and get that last shot to fall, people, we could have a lead going into halftime after this nonsense first half. 66 gets the switch onto Olynyk, a point guard with Olynyk, blows by completely airs the shot. Canada 2-on-1 fast break going the other way. RJ at the rim, gets the shot to fall at the buzzer. 43-42. Canada with a lead going into halftime. We did it. We did it. The game played out the best way it could down the stretch. Canada did really well to just stay composed and not get too nervy, not get too rattled. Things didn't go our way to start. A lot of ticky tack foul calls on our players, a lot of contact that was let go the other way, a lot of missed shots, a lot of from three, but also just not getting looks to fall at the rim because of the contact. Frustrating first half. I thought Latvia did well. Number 55, Zagars, very good player, very good player. But no, we're doing well. Kenyan, we're up now. It's 43-41 Canada. So I think Latvia had a 10-point lead with about 2.5 minutes to go in the second, and Canada just went on a run. The shots, I don't even think the three has really started to fall yet. Olenek made 1 3, but we just started locking down defensively and getting rebounds because I think the last two possessions where Latvia got a bucket, maybe not because Karuk's got the bucket as just the first shot in the possession, but they kept getting second and third chance points at some point in the second quarter. It didn't feel like their ability to generate good looks was persisting. I think we may have made some adjustments defensively, but yeah, offensively we just started to get it going. The refs started to give us some calls. We got to the free throw line because of the bonus a couple times, but yeah, we're up now. Canada is up 43-42. I feel pretty great about our chances of winning this game now. The fact that we bounced back from the shaky start that we had, the fact that it's not just that we're going into the second half with momentum, we're going into the second half with a lead and momentum. I'm very encouraged. I'm very happy. Shout out to everybody watching this live. Man, I got 10 concurrent viewers in here right now. People have been dropping by throughout the stream. Really appreciate you guys for being here. Whether you're watching this live right now, whether you're watching this on replay later on, people, make sure you stay engaged with the content if you enjoy what you're watching. You as a viewer have the ability to help channels grow and get bigger, and this happens through engagement. So if you're liking videos, if you're subscribing to channels, if you're commenting on videos, if you're active in the live chat, these are the forms of engagement that YouTube's algorithm looks for to decide which videos it should push to YouTube's wider audience. So you have the ability to make channels bigger. So if you enjoy what you're watching right now, if you enjoy these kind of streams, if you're going to be tuning in during NBA season for the Raptors, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and get engaged, stay engaged, because that is how channels grow. Why do we dig ourselves a hole? We just do that shit sometimes. But all things considered, like I think Canada just showed up thinking that they're gonna have a fairly easy time. I think between the referees and Latvia's play and just like missing threes, they found out pretty quickly that it was not going to be so easy, and they figured it out. They figured it out afterwards. The man has blown up so much with his streams that he has bots attacking. Honestly, it's flattering. It's flattering. Shout out to my Marquez, my G, first bot in my chat. But yeah, no, the streams are fun. The streams are working. I really like talking to people as I talk. It's a lot different than just talking to like just nobody, because when I used to do pre-recorded videos, I used to like the content in terms of what I'm saying, but I just I didn't enjoy it as much. I much rather sit here and talk to the people watching the video. So if you're watching this live, if you're watching this in the chat, feel free to get your thoughts off. I do not bite. I will not, I don't roast people like that. If you're not flagrant, I'm not flagrant. Like, just feel free to get your thoughts and opinions. We can get conversation started. It's good that we get scared a few times. This is true. This is true. I think it's important for complacency to bite a team in the ass a few times, because that is the only way you learn to not get complacent. And also, the thing is, ultimately, if your team has deficiencies, it's important to almost like troubleshoot your deficiencies live in games. That's an important part of being a good, resilient, contending team, is having had to troubleshoot things that go wrong in the moment. If you're a team that your flaws are just never exposed at any point in time, At some point they will. It's inevitable. So you'd rather not have that happen for the first time in the finals, in the end of the season in the NBA. Just like, this is not when you want that to happen. You want that to happen early on. So shout out to Latvia for punching us in the mouth early on. Shout out to Latvia for playing a good game. I think we figured it out, though. I think we figured it out. And from the standpoint of Jordi Fernandez, I do appreciate how quickly the tide tends to turn when things go wrong with him. Obviously, against France, I think the coaching adjustment was pretty obvious. In this game, I don't think the coaching adjustment was as obvious, but he did resort to a pretty high press, not quite full court, but they started pressing aggressively, and it's not like you could see turnovers off the back of that and like directly be able to establish that, okay, this press changed the game, but it did coincide with the tide of the game turning. Against France, when we started out okay, but then gave a run away to give France a lot of momentum based on the substitutions that Canada made, that was also something that Jordi Fernandez fixed, and he hasn't done the same thing yet in this tournament. Because what happened against France was, I believe we were up 3. So it started out 7-0 France. Then we got a 3-point lead. I think, no, it was a 5-point lead. I think it was 14-9. Then Jordi Fernandez subbed the whole starting lineup off for a whole bench lineup against France's starters. That kicked off a France run. And frankly, that's the reason that game was even so close at halftime. Because once Canada stopped doing that and started matching substitutions, so staggering the starting lineup with the bench players and essentially matching what France was doing. So if France has all their starters on the court, we'll do the same. If France has a mixed lineup on the court, we'll have a mixed lineup. Essentially, once we started doing that, you could see the game was just over. We outplayed them handedly the rest of the way. So you could clearly see there the coaching adjustment, but the troubleshooting in live action, right? Okay, I made a mistake. Let me figure it out. Let me turn things around, and it happening just quickly and promptly. In this game, again, not a good start, little bit of inaction, little bit of complacency. Let's get a press going. Let's up the energy. Let's get guys playing aggressively, and just kind of jolt some energy into the team. And it hasn't quite turned around yet all the way, but it kickstarted a change in of the tide, right? The game hasn't looked the same since he made that coaching decision. So a lot of love for Jordi Fernandez so far in this tournament. I'm really happy with what he's doing. I'm really happy with how quickly he's managed to have such a good command of the team. He's only been here for a little over a month, I think. But it's interesting because I almost look at it like Jordy's probably going to be gone at some point too. He's a hot commodity in the NBA. We saw with Nick Nurse that the team that hired him essentially wasn't comfortable with him coaching a national team while coaching their NBA team. With Jordi Fernandez, you have to wonder if he gets that promotion somewhere and that team asks him to no longer coach Canada, would he be open to it? And I think he probably, like, you can't know for sure if you don't know who he is as a person, but I think there's a decent chance that he says, you know what, yeah, I would love this NBA opportunity. Like I'll sacrifice the Canada job. So it's interesting. It's interesting, man. I really like what I've seen from Jordy, but I also acknowledge that he might not be here for too much longer. So look, I'm enjoying this squad while I can, staying in the moment. Obviously, this is the best Canadian basketball team I've ever seen myself. And yeah, I'm not just gonna take for granted that like things are gonna just inherently be this good going forward. I'm enjoying this moment for what it is. I was hoping we would hire him. No, this is real. And look, if that lawsuit gets sticky, who knows? We might have a coaching vacancy. For listeners of the Raptors show with Will Lou and Alex Wong, I think for the Lebanon podcast react show that Alex did, he talked about just the crazy hypothetical timeline of like, let's say the lawsuit makes us have to fire Darko, and then Jordy wins the World Cup with Canada, and it's this like crazy timeline of we have to hire Jordy because we need to out of circumstance. but we're hiring the coach that just won the FIBA World Cup with Canada, so he's coming uh, into the season with hella momentum. But just how exciting that training camp would be, and how needed a change in energy would be in that way. Um, Obviously, there's some people that are hopeful about the Raptors, but there's a lot of negative energy around the team. I think a lot of people are frustrated. There's not a whole lot of hope. But think about how crazy it would be if we go into this season with a coach that won the FIBA World Cup from Canada off the back of a lawsuit. Like, it would be crazy. It would be a crazy moment. He likely stays as a coach because getting gold means a lot, even for your coaching career. That's true. No, that's true. That's true. Obviously, it would be tough to walk away from like having an achievement like that. With Nick Nurse, obviously he achieved nothing with this team, so it's different. But here's the thing: NBA careers are big too, man. Like, if Jordy gets the right NBA job, if he gets a job that like just means the world to him, I could see him being like, you know what, I got to do this. I got to do what I got to do. I haven't been saying it full, but I've been thinking. A lot of people hate the team. I think we will be better than most think. Uh, with Nurse, he was like with Nurse, he was afraid to risk losing because it would look bad. Out of curiosity, like, can you expand on this point? Because I'm just interested in the details of that. But I see what you're saying. Um, yeah. Nah, going back to what he said here about a ton of people hate the team. I think we'll be better than most think. Yeah, because I think this is just inevitably how fandom works. First, like, however you feel emotionally, right, good or bad, it'll force a person to then just go to the extreme of that. So it's like, oh, I'm happy about my team, I'm going to overrate them to the max. Or if I'm unhappy about my team, I'm going to underrate them to the max. Thing about this team, right? I don't actually think this has like a crazy low floor. Like, I don't think that the Raptors are going to be like downright terrible. I think they'd probably have a hard time not finishing in the play-in tournament. But it's just the thing is like, it feels like they have a low ceiling. Like, it feels like they can't get too high. That being said, though, Nico, who hopped on the channel for the FIBA World Cup preview, he thinks that we're going to be in the top 6. So at some point, we're going to get that opinion on the Raptors talked through and fleshed out. So that'll be interesting to hear. Nurse's book outlined that he would want to win at any cost when things didn't go well for him in his G League since he tended to bounce. Morey ended up begging him to come back in Houston. Damn. When things didn't go well for him in his G League stint, he would bounce. Yeah, see, I'm not familiar with that part of things. But if that's a pattern for him, where when shit gets sticky, he bounces, the thing you have to acknowledge there is that things are sticky because of you. Things are sticky because of like you can't just act like a coach has nothing to do with what's going on the basketball court. The way I look at it, right? I think the players on a basketball team establish a floor and a ceiling, and then the coach establishes where within that floor and ceiling the team finishes, right? But ultimately, that's still a pretty significant involvement. Raptors the Loafers should be 60. But yeah, back to this. Like, you're bouncing every time something goes wrong, as if you have nothing to do with what's going wrong, or if what's going wrong is something that's just beneath you and you have to go pursue something else. Like, obviously, awesome to have the mobility to be able to do that, but yeah, that's not necessary. That doesn't reflect well on your outlook on what's going on. But nah. So this is my thing. Like, you pausing something I said, or you pausing habitual bouncer? Pausing habitual bouncer is hilarious. But yeah, nah, no worries, no worries. That was funny. Nah, habitual bouncer is that's a hilarious thing to have on your resume. I might have to start referring to him like that. That's gonna be an inside joke between me and Kenyon. If you see me on Basketball Rewind talking about the habitual bouncer, now you know who I'm talking about. Low ceiling, high floor team would be a 6 seed realistically. Yeah, in and around that area. In and around that area. But like, I don't know. I think I'm still a little bit more pessimistic than that. People, the second half is starting up. Man, get the Raptors out of here. It's Canada basketball time. Uh the second half starts with a kickball, people. RJ inbounds the ball off a Latvian player's foot. But yeah, we're starting the second half 43-42. Canada up by 1. Both team starters starting out this third quarter as usual. And we'll see who comes out with some energy. I think both the impetus is on both teams. Latvia knows that they've tricked off a double-digit lead. Canada knows that they've been playing games. I think both teams should come out with a lot of energy, knowing that this start to the second half is crucial. And it starts with an RJ Barrett basket at the rim. Take it easy, Kenyon. Catch you around later. Probably in the chat at some point during another stream. Latvia, sloppy possession, ends in an open corner 3. Miss from Latvia. Canada goes the other way. Dylan Brooks swinging it back to Olynyk, swinging it to Shea. Pull up 3. And he makes it, people. He makes it. The 3 falls. The 3 falls. SGA now with his second 3 of the game, 11 points. And a 6-point Canada lead. What do you know, people? What do you know? Once the game turned, it turned. Latvia gets a little push shot in the lane to fall. They're showing Davis Bertans on their bench. I don't know why he's there. I don't know if he's not a starter or if there's an injury issue or if he's benched because of play. But he's not on the court. But who is on the court is RJ Barrett, who just hit a 3. So that extends our lead to 7. Like I said earlier in the game, of like 3-point shooting evens out. We were having a horrendous start. And then 2 threes start the third quarter. So the momentum swings the other way. A steal happens on one side of the court, and Olynyk with the outlet pass to SGA, sneaking out, cherry picking in transition, and he gets the dunk at the rim. A 9-point Canadian lead, people. This game has officially swung the other way. The tide has completely turned. We're up 9, a minute and a half into the third quarter. It's a 10-2 run in a minute and a half. And how does that 10-2 run happen? It happens by 2 threes, outlet pass off a turnover to resulting in an open dunk. And yeah, just honestly, those are things that did not happen in the first half at all. Like, these are the kind of things that you see Canada do. Obviously, like just hitting the open threes, getting steals and getting out in transition. These are things that happen with Canada. They happened in this third quarter. And all of a sudden we have a 9-point lead. This is not something that like is surprising me at all, because like if you've been watching the live stream, I've been talking through the first half that despite the fact that things aren't going good, a lot of stuff are like a lot of worst case scenarios are happening, and worst case scenarios tend not to persist throughout the life of a basketball game. Like things like sometimes things can go bad, but they tend not to go terrible for the whole game. Things even out. So the fact that it felt like things were going terribly for certain moments in the first half, but we were only down, I think, 12 at our worst point, felt like if things swung the other way, I expected things to swing the other way and we would get back in the game. And look, the game turned quickly like it did against France. Against France, we went into halftime up 3, and it got to 30. It feels like in about 6 to 7 minutes at some point. By the end of the second quarter, it was a really. Sorry, I'm just watching the game. Canada, that's a foul. Olynyk goes to the basket, gets hacked. That's free throws. But yeah, the tide turned against France really quickly, and it feels like it's happening here. So that last minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes and a half in the second quarter, big change in momentum. And now you take the next 2.5 minutes here, big change in momentum. That's a 5-minute span where I think it went from being a 12-point Latvia lead to a 9-point Canada lead. That's a 21-point swing in roughly 5 minutes. But that's what's capable with this team. This team is capable of generating those really big swings and those really big changes in momentum. And it's something that helps me feel safe as a fan when you're watching your team struggle, because you know that they have it in them to turn things around. These possessions are getting hectic, man. Like that last possession that I had a hard time talking through because I was trying to process what was going on, was another one. Bodies just hitting the ground. RJ Barrett's going around the screen. Somebody's falling down. He gets the shot. Now Olenek is pushing somebody to the ground. A lot of chaos. One of the Latvian starters has 4 fouls. That's good. But Canada will inbound the ball. 7:21 to go in the third. 53-44. Dylan Brooks pull up three, misses. He was feeling himself there. I think he made one of the threes to get things going to start the run against France. Maybe he was thinking, look, I'll start this run to the 30-point lead as well. But he missed the shot that time. He missed that shot. I missed what happened with Latvia there, but Canada's going the other way with the ball. Still a 9-point game. 7 minutes to go in the third. Olenek feeding Brooks. Finds a cutting Dwight Powell, who I think gets blocked at the rim, but that might have been a foul. But that's okay. That happens. Dylan Brooks called with a foul the other way. The game is definitely getting really physical. The last 3 possessions have been very, very physical. I got to see a replay of this dunk or this missed dunk, because Dwight Powell looked like he had a. Oh, that's just a great block. Wow. Grazules. Powell had a. He was cutting off the ball as his man kind of cheated off of him to go to Dylan Brooks in the post. Dylan Brooks found him, and that man recovered really well, got a clean block at the basket. That's a great play. That's a great play. Melvin Edgem looks to be checking into the game for Dwight Powell. A medical expert is tending to Dwight Powell's right hand. So that's something to watch, because that's a guy that plays a lot of minutes for us, a lot of good minutes, plays an important role for us. Melvin Edgem now playing with his starters. I think Olenek is still the 4. Latvia misses a shot. SGA with the rebound underneath the basket. It was an air ball. SGA, step back 3. Front rim, misses. Nobody there to get the rebound. Latvia goes the other way. So now Olenek is guarding the 5, leaving Edgem to guard Rodions Kuruks. Missed by Latvia. Offensive rebound. Zagars with the ball. Melvin Edgem on him does a great job of keeping in front of him. That's a guy who's blown by a lot of our players. That was a weird possession. Ball literally ended up on the ground, or like a player was on the ground, but the ball was with him. Kicks it to a Latvia player underneath the basket, who found a way to get it to fall before the shot clock violation. SGA gets in the lane the other way, gets the shot to foul. They're panning to the medical team working with Dwight Powell. Now it looks like his left hand. God damn. That guy is we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on with him. Nikhil's in the game. I didn't even see Nikhil check into the game. I missed that. But he gets called with a foul. A foul trying to keep Zagars in front of him. Zagars again being a player that's giving us problems. Yeah, they're showing a replay there. Basically, when Bertans hit the ground and the ball was there with him, Canada kind of lost sight of the ball. So that's the only reason that they got a good shot off that possession. Oh, come on. Come on. Latvian player basically did a Dwight Powell there. Had an open look at a dunk. Olenek, I thought, did a good job of contesting it and maybe blocking it, but they called him with a foul. Looking at the replay, might have been a foul. But it was close. It was really close. It's that same number 24 for Latvia, the guy who got the block on the other side, went for the dunk on this side, and makes the first free throw. So this guy looks like a decent role player too. And this is what it is, people. When you watch nations in these tournaments that you've never seen before, if you watch a full game closely, like by the end of it, you'll spot players that you look at and you're like, these guys can play a role. They're not in the NBA. I've never heard of them. I'll probably never see them play again, but they can play a role. Dwight Powell checked back into the game, so he's okay. He is fine. SGA with the ball, waving off the help, step back three, front rim again. Little bit short on his shots on these deep threes. That's two misses now. That should be his cue to maybe get towards to the basket a little bit. I know the three was falling to start this quarter, and then he got into the lane at some point as well. But that's two missed threes now, two deep threes. Both were lined up right, but just front rim, not enough power on it. Latvia got a kick ball. RJ kicked the ball, so they keep the ball. On the inbounds play, Nikhil tips it out of bounds again. So Latvia gets another inbounds play. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Karuks takes SGA to the basket and gets the shot to fall. So I think the games got pretty fit. Like around the time in the stream where I said the game started to get physical, that physicality resulted in some chaos, and I think Latvia has done well with making the chaos benefit them in the terms of like the randomness of these possessions is tending to result in open looks for them. And continuing with that theme, Nikhil Alexander Walker just loses his handle, dribbles, the ball just ends up bouncing into the middle of the court. Latvia takes it the other way, gets an open transition dunk. It's a 3 point game now, 55-52. Got to credit Latvia for staying in the game, not getting swallowed up by the momentum, and fighting through it ultimately. Another turnover by Nikhil, losing his handle again, results in a Latvia corner three that fortunately they missed because that was not the best look, but it wasn't bad either. In with given the momentum of the game, I kind of expected that to fall. I'm not gonna lie. Foul on Latvia. Got the Lithuania and Montenegro game on my mind. Inbounds play, 3:55 to go in the third, 3 point game. SGA starting out the possession. Goes around a Dwight Powell screen, goes the other way now, gets into the lane, gets the foul called. Or doesn't get the foul called. I think they just said that the ball is off Latvia and Canada keeps the ball. Yeah, 10 seconds on the shot clock, we keep the ball. But yeah, SGA got into the lane, got bumped a little bit. It looked like he was just trying to draw the contact. I think he was successful, but I guess it's not enough to just like be an obvious foul. RJ gets around his man, gets to the basket. What? He gets around his man, gets to the basket, finds a cutting edge him who gets the basket, but they blew a whistle at some point in that sequence, and I think it was a foul. Okay, it's obvious what they called, but yeah, the Latvian player, as Barrett was going around him, really like mugged him, but at the same time, like we went on to score a basket, like just let us have that basket. Now an offensive foul on Dwight Powell. See, if they just let that call go, we get the edge and basket and we can keep it pushing. That's annoying. That's 3 fouls on Powell. He checks out of the game now. And Latvia has the ball with a chance to tie it up. Yeah, sloppy moments from Canada ever since they got the 9 point lead. Since that timeout, a minute and a half into the third, when Latvia took a timeout down 9, whatever they talked about in the timeout, it worked. Latvia blow by, layup at the rim, 1 point game. 55-54 for Canada, 3:12 left in the third. SGA in the lane, fade away, gets the bucket. Much needed bucket, much needed hopefully that's something that settles the players, but that was needed because Latvia Latvia has it going right now. Oh, great steal by Melvin Ejim. 3-on-2 fast break. RJ at the rim, fouled. RJ to the free throw line. Big steal by Ejim. The veteran Team Canada player coming up big in another moment. Got a big layup to fall against France in the face of a French run, and now getting a big steal, resulting in 2 free throws the other way in the midst of a Latvia run. So Melvin Ejim, not somebody that's making big play after big play after big play, but has made now two, I think, um, important plays in the heat of opposing runs. Free throws missed by RJ. First free throw is a miss. 57-54 still. Would RJ has a chance to make it a 4-point game. 246. Misses the second one. And the ball bounces around. Latvia ends up with a rebound in transition. Honestly, they had a chance to do an alley-oop and they tried to, but the pass was just so bad that it didn't work. Canada going the other way. SGA to the basket. Gets it to foul. Gets it to fall. Gives the referee an and one, even though the referee didn't call it. But that's an and one. 59-54. 59-54. 2:15 left in the third. 5-point lead for Canada. Olenek didn't need to jump. Ball found Karuks in the corner from three. Pump faked. Olenek jumped into him. So then, as he went around him, he caught the foul from Olenek landing and bumping him as he tried to go around him. Yeah, so that SGA basket that he called for the and one on, that's an and one in the NBA, but that's probably not an and one in FIBA. That's probably not an and one in FIBA. So Karuks goes to the free throw line. I guess Latvia's in the bonus. That sucks. But yeah, chance for Latvia to make it a 3-point game. Karuks makes the first free throw. I remember him on the Raptors summer league. He was so bad. He was so bad. And I remember in the early days of like the Twitter account for this YouTube channel, I used to post that GIF of Kawhi pushing him. Because for those who aren't familiar, when Crooks was on the Nets and Kawhi was on the Raptors during one of those games, I don't know what Crooks did to warrant it, but Kawhi just pushed him. It was like the most emotional I've seen Kawhi in a game. SGA making it look easy, blowing by his man, making the shot at the rim. Latvia corner threes missed the other way, so a 6-point lead for Canada. A chance to restore a lead closer to that 9-point lead, which is our biggest of the game. SGA goes to the basket, gets the foul call. People, this last couple minutes has been the SGA takeover part of the game. This is where SGA says, "Look, I'm not with the funnies anymore. I'm not with this bullshit. We're gonna take control of this game again." It looked like Canada at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, was starting to run away with the game, and then Latvia did a very good job of getting back in it. But the this little 2-minute stretch here from SGA is really giving Canada like a command of the game again. Makes his first free throw, extends the lead to 7. Misses the second, but Ejim gets a rebound, another big rebound, kicks it out to Olenek. 7-point lead. SGA with the ball, going to the basket, collapsing the defense, finding Scrub in the corner. It was a bit of a bad pass, so it wasn't an easy. Scrub couldn't shoot it immediately, but he shoots it eventually, gets the 3 to fall. 10-point lead, the second 3 I've seen from a Scrub brother in all the basketball games I've watched of them. But it's a big 3. It's a 10-point lead now, 65-55, 1:10 to go in the third. Olenek having a hard time keeping in front of a point guard. Point guard gets a look to fall at the basket, 65-57. Eight-point game. Down into the last 45 seconds of the third. SGA, ISO. Woo! Step back bank shot. He had good position driving to the basket, had even better position off the sidestep. Uh, Bank shot fell, and on the other side of the court, Latvia misses a three, misses a corner three. The players are showing some frustration. Davis Bertans is complaining to the ref, but Canada will go the other way with a chance to take a shot with about 3 seconds left in this quarter. So hopefully it's the last shot of this quarter. 10-point lead, the biggest lead for Canada so far in this game. 67-57. Open corner three for Nikhil. 5 seconds to go. Misses the shot. Latvia gets the ball. They'll go the other way. Turnover to Nikhil, who gets a deep three off. Oh, chance to beat the buzzer, but he doesn't. That would have been very difficult. Camera pans to a Latvian fan who's incredibly confused about what just happened. But yeah, from a Canadian standpoint, look, that's what you asked for in that quarter. We got a 9-point lead early. We tricked it off, but then we got it back. It's a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Yeah, that means we won the quarter by 9, I believe, because we had a 1-point lead at halftime. So that's about what you expect from a third quarter. That's about what you expect from a team trying to not let Latvia in the game for too long. When it comes to situations like this, you don't want that underdog team, that team that knows that they don't have the talent, but they're determined to prove that they still are dogs. You don't want that team to be in the game for too long. The longer that they're in the game, the more confident they get, the more encouraged they get, the harder it is to get them to go away. So to really get that double digit lead going in this quarter, it's big for this game. It's big for this game. So fourth quarter is going to be teed up soon, people. Um, as always, I remind you guys a lot, but I'm going to continue to remind you guys because it's important. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, get active in the chat. Whatever it is, these are all the forms of engagement that YouTube's algorithm looks for to decipher which content should get pushed to YouTube's audience as a whole. So essentially, as an audience member of something like this, you have the ability to make a channel bigger if that's what you want to do. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you get active in the chat, make sure you leave comments. These are things that will directly contribute towards the channel getting bigger. So if you enjoy what's going on, make sure you get that done. Fourth quarter starting up, people. Latvia inbounding the ball. Looks like our starters. No, I see a lot of bench players. Olenek is in the game. Dylan Brooks is in the game. And yeah, those are the starters in the game. Phil Scrub, Edgum, and Nikhil are the other players in the game off the bench. Latvia starts the fourth with a quick basket. Yeah, with a quick basket. And Olenek responds with a quick basket of his own. So the 10-point lead is restored 69-59. 9:20 to go. Latvia gets a good look at the basket, cuts the lead back down to 8. Pretty. The pace of this fourth is pretty quick. We've got 3 possessions already in. I mean, the fourth possession started in the first minute of the quarter. That's a pretty quick pace. Olenek pull up 3, makes it. 72-61, 11-point lead. Definitely off balance on that 3. That was not an easy shot by any means, but he got it to fall. Latvia with the ball, kicking it around. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Guy takes a step back 3 out of circumstance, misses it. Dylan Brooks with the ball underneath the basket. Takes it the other way, draws a foul in transition. So it's not going to be free throws because it's the beginning of the quarter, but it's 1 foul on the team, and we're inching closer to the bonus. It's a pretty minute detail, but look, in a game like this where you're just looking to put a team away, man, you want everything you can get as early as you can get. You don't want to leave teams like this in games, especially teams that have demonstrated that they can generate runs against you. You just want to put them away. So good, strong start to the fourth. Three from Nikhil, and he makes it. 14-point lead, people. 14-point lead. The threes have been falling at a much higher rate in the second half. Like I said, things always end up going back to the average, right? We missed threes at an unsustainable rate in the first half. The threes were always going to come in the second half, and they have in volume so far. We have a 14-point lead. People, we were down 12 at some point. So during some period of the game, it's been a 26-point run. They're calling a foul on Canada underneath the basket. Edgem gets called with the foul, I think. He's frustrated. I'm looking at it. I don't know. I don't know if I was watching that part of the court. So I guess I would have missed what they called. But it didn't look like anybody got knocked down or anything like that. It didn't look like anyone was woefully out of position because they were being held or anything. Like, that possession looked kind of normal. Latvia with the ball. Point guard switched. Olenek switched onto a point guard. His pass into the post is stolen. Going the other way. Phil Scrub from three. Makes the three. Timeout by Latvia because it is a 17-point game. Olenek is screaming into the air like he's Kevin Garnett, telling you that anything is possible. People, this game is over. It's a 17-point game with 8 minutes to go. Canada is hitting threes. Canada is generating open looks. Canada is stopping Latvia from generating open looks. This game is a blowout in the making, people. A blowout in the making. 17-point lead for us. There was a point in time where we were down 12, roughly 15 minutes of game time ago. So in a 15-minute run time span, we've made a 29-point run. So this team is doing really well right now. They're demonstrating that they can bounce back from setbacks. They're demonstrating that they can troubleshoot their own problems in the moment. And they're demonstrating that they're a resilient team. And this isn't just a couple guys on the team. I've seen everybody contribute to it. If you're talking about obviously the starters, SGA, RJ, Dylan Brooks, Dwight Powell, Olenek, but then also Nikhil has contributed to these kind of moments. Lou Dort has contributed. He contributed against France. He's not playing today. But Melvin Edgem has contributed to these moments. Phil Scrub right now has hit 2 threes as a part of this run. You're seeing the whole team kind of reflect their character as a team that can deal with having a bad stretch of play, but then figure out why it happened and bounce back from it. It's not like we're getting these grifty, fugazi, like 2-3 point wins when we're down 15. It's, we're going to be down double digits, but then we're going to go win by double digits too. So the game is back. It's a 17-point game, 7 minutes to go, and look what happens. Latvia turns the ball over. Canada with the ball going the other way. Olenek dribble handoff to Phil Scrub, gets the ball back, tries to find Edgem underneath the basket, but Edgem moved out of the dunker spot, and that ball just went right to a Latvian player. Latvia kicks it around, gets an open three, misses. Edgem with the rebound, and Nikhil is going to take the ball the other way. 78-61. Nikhil kicking it to Scrub, goes around an Olenek screen, finds Olenek in a pick and pop, who dribbles past his man, gets to the basket, misses, gets his rebound, tries to kick it to the three-point line, is fouled, I think. If not fouled, just the Latvian player knocked the ball out of bounds. Oh no, they called a foul. That's a foul on Krooks. Olenek actually tried to help him up because he's on the ground, and he just refused. Not in a I'm upset at you kind of a way. He just looked like he was down there grieving on the court, which I understand because look, it's been a really bad second half. But yeah, Latvia are frustrated. They're down 17, 6:22 to go. Canada now, I think, is a few. They're approaching the bonus. I think there's 3 fouls on Latvia already. Edgem checks out of the game. And this is a part of what's going on. It's not even just that this run that we've made to get a 17-point lead is what the starters are doing. The bench was in for a lot of that. So now SGA is checking into a game that we're up 17 in for Edgem. Barrett bullies his way to the basket, gets a look to fall, 19-point game. I've talked about that specifically a lot. RJ Barrett is a lot bigger than two guards in the FIBA game on most teams. So RJ Barrett gets to use his size and his length and his physicality to bully his way to the basket and not be phased by bumps that he takes when he gets there, so he can finish through the contact. Canada gets a turnover, goes the other way, and Barrett again gets in one of those situations where in transition he's getting to the basket, the guy has to foul him, and it's just a clear foul. Now, some of those looks in this tournament and in the friendlies, he'll get that shot to foul, and it'll be an and one. But in this case, he misses the shot, 2 free throws, a chance to make it a 20+ point lead. So this is what it is, man. Like, we might 30 another team in this tournament. That's what I'm going for. They call it another tech, I think, on the coach. I think 2 techs should be an ejection. I don't like. Maybe it works differently in FIBA, but I mean, he's still on the bench, so I don't really know what's going on. 20-point game. RJ at the free throw line misses his first free throw. And misses his second free throw. So bad night for RJ from the free throw line. Gets his rebound and then misses the shot as well. And then commits a foul on the Latvian player that rebounds the ball. So what a hell of a bad stretch there from RJ Barrett for about 5 seconds. But it's all good. It's all good, people. It's a 20-point game. He's not had a whole lot of production, but he's done okay, RJ. Nikhil with the aggressive defense at the point of attack on Zagars, who is later fouled by Kelly Olynyk trying to get to the basket. 5:37 to go in the fourth. 20-point game. 81-61 for Canada. Olynyk picks up his third foul. He's checking out of the game. Latvia kicks it around. Corner 3 from Latvia. They get the shot to fall. The crowd goes crazy. They pan to the Latvia fans going crazy. But my guys, it's a 17-point game. It's a 17-point game, and SGA just checked it. He gets into the lane, loses his handle, gets the ball back from Nikhil, sizing up his man. Actually, Karuks does a great job on him, gets the steal. Wow. Why did the shot clock not reset? So he pokes the ball out of SGA's hands as SGA is trying to go around him. Ball falls to Dwight Powell with like 2 seconds left on the shot clock. So he just jacks it up and hits like no rim at all, which is fine. But like, I don't know. I think the shot clock, it's a judgment call there whether it should reset or not, and they judged that it shouldn't. But that's ultimately what wasted that possession, because Dwight Powell had to just jack it up from like almost the 3-point line without getting his feet set. Latvia misses a 3. They get the rebound underneath the basket, and then they get a foul called on them. Canada gets a foul called on them. I don't see who it is. I think it's SGA trying to swipe at the ball. Immediately raises his hand and takes that foul. I think that could have been against Nikhil if they wanted it to be, and Nikhil has another foul or has more fouls, maybe something like that. But SGA took that foul immediately. 16-point game with a chance to make it a 15-point game. And he makes his free throw. So it's 81-66 with 4:39 to go. RJ Barrett kicks it to Shea. Finds Nikhil in the corner. Misses, makes his three. Bounced around the rim, but he made his three. Big shot there, 18-point game. Was that a foul? I don't think so. But yeah, Nikhil swiped the ball away, almost got it knocked out of bounds. Almost got the steal, but it went out of bounds. He tried to save it, but he couldn't get around the Latvian player who boxed him out. Latvia misses their shot. Ball bounces around underneath the basket. Canada ends up with the rebound. Latvia tries to press us out of the ball, but we get through it. SGA with the ball now above the break, sizing up his man. It's Zagar's on him, I think, who's much smaller than him. I think he stepped on his foot as SGA stepped back, but he did knock the guy off his balance and got the step back to fall. 27 points again from SGA. That's the two non-blowout games where he actually had to play. Scored 27 in each game. People, probably the best player in the tournament. He's playing unreal right now. He's playing out of this world. Latvia gets a and one at the basket the other way. Oh no! So he didn't. Zagars didn't step on SGA's foot. He just got bumped a little bit. But that's cold right there. That's cold right there. He dropped his defender. That's cold. 4 fouls on Dwight Powell now, but there's 3 minutes to go. This game's over. That's not something to worry about. Latvia makes the free throw, makes it a 17-point game. So I don't think it's possible to 30 them anymore. So the dream of 30ing your whole group is out of the window. But we still have a pretty good opportunity to win by 20 and still have that on our resume, having 20 to every team in the group stage. Karuk's now with another great possession defending SGA. So he's really, doing a good job of using his size and his ability to move his feet to disrupt what SGA has going on. It's the second time he's been able to poke the ball out of SGA's hands while trying to drive on him. But if you use that size, this is the problem. If you use that size on SGA, you're going to put a smaller player on somebody else. And we have the players to punish you. RJ Barrett will punish your small point guard if you have to then put your point guard on him because you put your small forward on SGA. And worst case scenario, if you put that small player on Dylan Brooks will do something. Dylan Brooks just made a shot right here to make it a 19-point game. Latvia misses their shot the other way. Now RJ goes the other way and gets the shot to fall. 21-point game, 2:15 left to go in the game. Timeout is called by Latvia, as if that's going to do anything at this point. This game is over. We should all just want to go home at this point, get some rest. Both of these teams have big matchups ahead of them. They will be playing most likely Spain and Brazil, barring an upset. And what I can do is I can share my screen and show the group situation that's going on and familiarize the people who maybe don't exactly know how this tournament format works. So, people, what's going to happen is I'll just skip to the next thing. We're currently in the first round of group phase. There's a second round of group phase, which is composed of 4 groups. And among the groups are the top two teams from the groups of the first phase of group play. So our group is Group H. H1, H2 are going to be Canada at H1, Latvia at H2. We will be playing matches against G1 and G2, and how it'll work is, as you can see with Germany and Australia, the record from the first phase of group play carries over into the second, and then you build on it by playing the 2 teams from the other group. So H1 and H2 will be playing only against G1 and G2, not the other team again. Not Canada and Latvia will advance, but they will not play each other again. Their records will carry over, and then their records will be added to by playing G1 and G2. So I'll go back to the G. That is Spain for sure, and then Brazil or the Ivory Coast. The favorites at this point are Brazil. a team with a little bit more experience in these kind of tournaments, a little bit more established talent, then obviously right now, as of now, the better point differential while having the same record. So this is what's going on, people. We will be playing matchups against Spain and likely Brazil, but potentially the Ivory Coast. And the same way I'm doing this watch along here, I will be doing further watch alongs for every game in this tournament that Team Canada plays. So make sure you tap in with me while you're watching the game, and we'll talk through everything that's happening as it happens. And if you don't get a chance to wake up early and watch the game, or you have work or something, you can always sit here and watch this replay and get caught up to date with everything that happened, all the little nuances I pick up on, everything that's going on. You have a chance to get that information here. RJ Barrett hit a three to make it a 24-point game. Latvia gets a open corner three that falls in a really weird way, hit the rim, the top of the backboard, and then went in. So yeah, but regardless, this game is over. Focusing on the future, what will happen then is I'll take us back to the second round. This group of G1, G2, H1, H2 is Group L, right? It's the new Group L. If you look at the quarterfinals, where is it? The quarterfinals, the L group, L1 and L2, the two teams that advance are going to play K1 and K2. So if we go back to the second round and look at what Group K is, Group K, as of right now, has Germany and Australia, and then we'll likely have, that's another three from RJ. Wow. We'll likely have Slovenia and Georgia. So Slovenia may or may not have Luka. He's not healthy. And Georgia is Georgia, like one of those teams where we don't really know the players, but the players are good because they're going to advance to the group. But obviously, comparing against a team like us, you definitely like Canada's chances. So it's looking like we're on a crash course to only have to beat Spain or Brazil, like only have to win one of those games to advance to the next thing, I think. But yeah, that looks like Germany would be a team that we either run into in the quarterfinals or maybe the let me see this side of the bracket. If we okay, so if we don't run into Germany in a K1 L2 or L1 K2 matchup, then we would only be able to play them in the finals. So maybe that's how you look at it. We've played Germany twice in the friendlies. They showed that they're a very good team twice. And we may want to not have to play them. And you achieve that by winning Group L. So that's what all eyes are on at this point, people. That's what the focus is. The focus is the future and how we navigate this tournament going forward. Obviously, I like our chances to do great things in this tournament based on what I've seen. It's a 23-point game, people. 19 seconds to go. This game is over. So it looks like we will succeed in having 20'd every team in our group. We will have an outrageous point differential. Let me see what's going on in terms of point differential. We were plus 85, so we will have over 100-point differential that will help us in Group L for the tiebreaker. It's a 26-point game. Kyle Alexander just hit a three, and Latvia chucks up the full court shot. It is over, people. 26-point win. We are plus 111 in the point differential right now. Amazing game. Amazing grit from Canada to take a punch from Latvia early in the game, but not get wobbled, not get knocked down. We took their best punch, ate it, and just responded. Great adjustment from Jordi Fernandez when he started to press Latvia high up the court in the second quarter. That turned the tide of this basketball game. And that's not something we continued for the whole game. And it's not something that you can see that, oh, it generated turnovers that changed the game. But I think that jolt of energy and that, like, the impetus and just the energy that it creates to press a team, that's something that turned the game because it directly coincided with the run that we made to blow this game open. Look, the players are the players. Like, we have a very good team. SGA is unreal. The complementary pieces we have around SGA, they all do their job. But we have a very good team. Latvia is a team that showed grit. Latvia is a team that came down 20, came back from down 20 against France to beat France, to eliminate France. Latvia is not a team with scrubs. I spotted two players in that team that I think are very good role players, but ultimately we showed them that we're the better team because we are. So with that being said, people, on to phase two. And like I said, we'll probably be playing Brazil and we're definitely playing France, I believe. So those two matchups, as they get scheduled, I will be sorting out, but I will be doing watch alongs. So make sure you tap into that. And I say this all the time, you have the ability to help YouTube channels get bigger. So by liking, by subscribing, by commenting, by being active in the chat, these are things that YouTube's algorithm looks for to grow videos. By like, it's the way YouTube's algorithm identifies the videos that should be pushed to YouTube's wider audience to help grow the channel. So you have the ability to help this channel grow. If you enjoy the content that you're watching, make sure you stay engaged with it. This is for the people watching live and the people watching on replay. This was a lot of fun. I'll be back for the next game. Make sure you tune in, and I'll see you guys around.